Did McCarthy tell you to step away from the committees, or did you make
Nobody
this
tells
decision
me
on
to
your
do
own?
anything. I made a decision on my own that I thought best represented the interests of the bill.
And he has made some decisions in his life. New York Republican Congressman George Santos says he will temporarily step down from committee assignments while the several investigations into his finances and other issues continue. But that is not good enough for Santos's constituents. A new poll finds that 78% of voters in his district want him out, including 71% of Republicans. Joining me now to discuss, former Democratic New York Congressman Max Rose. Max, you ran for re-election and you did not win. George Santos is in office. How do you feel about that, sir?
Don't rub it in. Oh my God. Oh my God. What a
way to start this conversation.
Nice to see you too. So look, when you look at George Santos, he's clearly a joke. He's clearly a fraud. I think there's also a significant possibility that he's a criminal. But despite all of that, what's so fascinating is Kevin McCarthy and the Republican leadership wants him to stay, because they know that they will lose that seat in a special election. So here you have this whole grand event where he steps down from the committees. Surely that's not a decision that he made in isolation. And they're trying to get this out of the news because they need him to be there. The Republican Party, how crazy is this, needs George Santos right now. That's the state of our politics, and that's potentially the state of some of the extremist elements of the Republican Party right now.
Let's talk about the state we live in, right? People think of New York as a deep blue state. You are a centrist Democrat representing Staten Island. We know that Democrats lost some crucial seats in these midterms, i.e. George Santos won. How do you see New York now? How should we see it?
So it's crazy. I mean, you could put my seat aside for a moment, or my former seat, which is a Republican seat. There are 5 seats right now in New York State that Biden won resoundingly, that the Republicans won. That is larger than the margin that the Republican Party has nationwide.
What does that tell you?
Well, it's very simple. The failure of the Democratic Party in New York State is the reason why the Democratic Party is not in control right now, and Hakeem Jeffries is not the Speaker of the House. So what can it do right now? Well, you know, for generations, really, the Democratic Party had a lazy element in New York State. It was assumed that Democrats would win, so we were caught asleep at the wheel. The Republicans won, and we cannot let that happen again in 2024. And something tells me that at the very least, you'll see a lot more energy, a lot more resources, hopefully some strategy. And if that occurs, then the Democrats have a pathway to take the House back.
Well, is that happening right now? President Biden was in New York today talking infrastructure projects, where obviously we got the money because of the bipartisan infrastructure law that passed.
Sure.
Will voters remember this?
Well, it's interesting to see the Democratic Party right now do something that it really hasn't done, which is spike the football. Not just talk about the next public policy, but let's talk about our victories. So that's great to see, and there's a heck of a lot of New Yorkers that love Joe Biden. We don't necessarily love it when he comes to New York because of all the traffic, but this was the right political move, and they need to do it over and over and over again. It was recently announced that Steny Hoyer will be leading this effort amongst the House Democratic caucus in and around messaging the victories from the prior cycle. And there are many to list. Infrastructure probably at the lead. You know, in American politics, it's motherhood, apple pie, and infrastructure. Everyone loves them.
Kitchen table issues. The White House tomorrow is expected to make announcements around making life more affordable. Some things like capping credit card fees. Are those the type of things that are going to resonate with the American people? Because it's that everyday stuff that gets people.
Absolutely. You know, really what you see with the swing voters in every single district is they're thinking about, how does this impact my life? Right? They don't have all day long to think about politics. This isn't rocket science, of course. And that discipline of each and every day, whichever party says, okay, we are going to think about what you care about and message that and actually institute public policy around it, that's often the party that wins, the party that will appeal more to its extremist base, think about social media on a daily basis. That will often be the party that loses. When the Democratic Party follows that playbook, as it did in 2018, as it did in certain districts in 2020, it wins. When the Republican Party does that, and that seems to be a distant memory at times, it wins as well. And so hopefully in 2024, we see this as the great clash of our politics. Who cares more about pocketbook issues rather than who wants to appeal to extremism?
We have not seen the two parties come together for years on something we desperately need, immigration reform. Right now, New York has faced a massive influx of migrants, as have many, many cities. How are we handling it here?
Well, what you see is Mayor Eric Adams standing up and saying that we need federal support. And he's right. This is a national issue. At times, it's a global and international issue. And it's one that no city, no municipality, no state can handle alone. And in this instance, this is a weakness of the Biden administration, that they are unwilling to stand up and lead around this issue. Rather, it's clear that they would rather ignore the issue and focus on other, political issues. And that is unfortunate because it is a problem. That doesn't mean that we can't deal with it in a humane manner. We have to. This is the United States of America. That's what we should do. That's what we do when we're at our best. But that's not, they're not leading with that rhetoric right now or those policies. And I think that's unfortunate, as do many New Yorkers.
Do you want back in? You're speaking very enthusiastically.
Look, I love this country, and I love service. I don't see myself running for office, this country matters. Maybe I'm running for Willie Geist's seat, but
he's a pretty fast runner. Good luck with that. He's pretty fast. Max Rose, always good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Let's be clear, that was not a no. I'm actually taking that as a muted yes. I'm just saying.